Okay, now then, what we're going to have a look at is QR code generation. Now, if you don't know what a QR code is, basically a QR code is a sort of black and white marker that you've probably seen around but not realise what they actually are, which allows you or your mobile device to be redirected to a web page, to go to SMS message, to read that text, whatever it might be. And they can be used in the classroom to great effect to help to bring a lot of interaction into your lessons. Now, if you go into Google and just type in QR code generator, quite a few different websites come up, but one of the best ones I think is GoQRMe. And indeed this is GoQRMe, and this over here is a QR code, and you can see with the slider here I can make it bigger and smaller, and I can actually download it, I can embed it, you name it. But how did I get to this point, and what actually is it? Well, if you remember, if you had a look at the different video tutorials, a couple of video tutorials I've done about actually using Dropbox, this is a great way of actually sharing your media and creating things that can be then used with this QR code generator to create some interesting lesson activities. So if you remember, we would go to Dropbox and have a look at some of the images we've got, and I've got this one just here, which is this untitled BMP picture of the rocket launching. If you remember, that one has been shared and synced with everybody through my actual Dropbox folder. I can go into there and I can right click on this one, go down to the Dropbox icon and then share link. And what this does is it'll open up a page, it'll actually show me what the picture is online up in the cloud and give me the appropriate link. Now this link is a website link. We don't want that one because we're not going to share it via email. Just here at the top to that particular image. Now that can be placed into, if I actually copy that and paste it into yet another tab, you will see that when I click on that, it'll go to that image in Dropbox. There we go. So you could just share that, but it's not particularly very useful for students to be able to type in that with all that, you know, HDX, HGY, GE00, etc. code in there. So that's not particularly useful for them to get hold of that image or that MP3 file. But if you put it into a QR code generator, and these can be used with mobile devices like an iPhone or an iPad, or indeed if you have anything else that can read a QR code, then straight away they can see that image. So if we go over to GoQRMe, what I can do is I can grab hold of the code there at the top, the HTTPS, www, etc. Copy that and paste it into my QR code. Now you can see I've actually done that already, so if I just do it again, and you can see that I've got this URL here and it actually creates it. Now if I wanted to change it to anything else, so if I wanted to actually go for Google, for example, so if I did HTTP www.google.com, that's the actual QR code for Google. So if I was, or if anybody else was to scan that particular code for Google, straight away it would go off to Google, and that would work for any web-enabled phone. You can see as well, we've got under here, you can actually add your text in here, so you can put in anything at all, and it will create that. If I actually scan that with a QR code reader, it would actually come up with the text hello as a message. You've also got these wonderful ones. You can actually even create a call, so they actually can put in a code so that it will make a phone call. SMS as well, so country code, area code, telephone and the actual text. And the V card, which allows you to actually put in basically something which is like the old style business cards. You create your own business cards where it'll do your address, your title, i.e. if you have a PhD in something, your email, the lot, and then you will actually create it over here. But let's go back to that URL because that's really the one that we're most interested in. So I had that particular image. So imagine you're creating a lesson, if you're actually thinking about sharing a number of different images as clues, for example, in say a history lesson where they're learning about the Black Death, and you want them to actually have a number of different clues about the causes of the Black Death. Each one of those you could create in any particular thing, or indeed you can have audio and video mixed in there as well. You would actually drop those into your Dropbox. So you'd put them into here, maybe create a folder inside here called the Black Death, and then drop images into there. And each one of those, you can right click on the file itself, go to Dropbox, and share the link. And what you'll get is this. And you can then create a QR code for them, and these can be positioned anywhere around the room. So let's copy this one. Let's go over to QR code generator, put in that code just there, paste it in, and you can see that it's got the different sizes. Now, once it gets above a certain size, you can see it doesn't seem to enlarge, but I can assure you, if you right click and actually download it, it will be that size. If you just right click there and save image, it won't do, but you have to click on the download button. And what it'll do is it'll actually open it up as a PNG. So if we open that one up now, you'll see on the screen, there we go. So it's actually a full-sized one at the size that I quoted. Copy that into a Word document, a Publisher document, Photoshop, just print it out straight from here, and that will instantly work. Obviously, what you do need to do is make sure you've got a QR app on the iPad. Now, there are a number of different ones that you can actually install on the iPad. Go to the iTunes store and you can see loads of those. I mean, if we actually go into Google, you can see loads of different types of apps that you can use. So just search QR code reader apps, and you will see that there's quite a few within there that you can actually use. Now you've got this one here on iTunes that you can actually install. None of them are particularly different, they all tend to be very, very simple. That's the one that I've used before. It just reads it. It's usually they are completely free, and you can see the type of thing that's actually produced. So they use the camera. Bear in mind that if you have got devices like the iPod Touch and also the first generation iPad that don't have cameras, you can't actually use the QR code scanner because it needs to have a camera on it. But once you've done that, it'll actually scan it, and then it'll actually go across. And as you can see here, it'll bring up different bits and pieces, and it will take them to the web page. So when they actually scan that, what they'll see is that image, if they were going to go to that particular QR code. So very, very simple, very, very powerful piece of information to use. Great way of actually sharing stuff and media without actually having to create a website or upload it to Google or upload it to anything like iTunes. Very, very quick way, and also it's easy to do at home to create lessons using Dropbox as well. So that's QR code generation, simple, straightforward. Have a play with it. What I would do is I'd have a go at generating your own ones, print one off, try it with some of the mobile devices with the apps installed, and see what you can do. So you can take your Dropbox, and if you're doing this within the training center, what I would do is I'd get an image, take one of our sample images, put it into your Dropbox folder, and then actually right click over it again, go to the share link part, and copy that into that GoQRme.com and have a go at that particular one, and then print them out, have a play with them, see what you can do.